Broadcast is live. Friday night, Clown World Cousins. I'm Faye. That beautiful girl over there is Mary. First cousins. Cousins and friends for life. And now we're bringing it to the world, Mary. We're bringing it to our husbands. It's my husband's favorite show.
It's funny. I never know what you're going to say. I'm always like, all right, you start. And then every time you start, I'm always like, wow.
I don't know what I'm going to say either. I never plan anything. But did we talk at all this week? I don't even think did we have a phone conversation? Not really.
Well, only briefly on, what was that, Thursday, and I felt like crap yesterday. But yeah, we haven't talked about much at all.
Yeah.
We'll see where the night takes us.
Yeah. I was telling Mary I love her hair. She's doing the retro flip. It's so cute. It's lovely. I'd like to apologize to our little precious audience, anyone that listened now or later to last week. Mary, I betrayed our audience's trust.
Okay.
I do remember at the beginning of last week's stream, I was like, this is a great stream. If you want to close your eyes and you're thinking of taking a nap and, you know, we'll keep it low key. And then I played that offensive crow audio. Like, imagine like you're someone, I'm like, okay, Faye, I'm going to take a nap. And then you hear that.
Yeah.
That wasn't very nice of me.
That's hilarious. My cat was attacked by a hawk today.
Is the kitty okay?
The kitty is okay. Thank goodness the children were out in the yard to save her. But yeah.
Oh,
the animals be crazy.
Animals do be crazy. There's plenty of other stuff for the hawk to go after. Ow. I mean, you don't really hear about hawks going after cats. I mean, kittens maybe. How big is the cat?
Wait, hold on. What are you looking for? It's right over there, Gemma. How big's the cat? She's a full-grown female cat. Times are tough for the hawk, apparently.
I see them all the time. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the kitty. You don't mess with the feline. The female of the species is more deadly than the male, they say.
Sorry. I have to direct people. It's over there on the bag. In the bag. That's what you're looking for. No, in the bag on the closet door. Why do you even want your bathing suit? It's kind of chilly out. I feel like it turned fall like overnight, don't you?
Oh, people conjure it. All these people near me, they're already walking around with their fall fashion and their sweaters. They love it.
I do like fall and winter clothes way better than summer clothes.
Summer is my favorite. This was but I feel like we were ripped off with June. They've stolen June from us in so many ways. But fall is my second favorite. So it's never really hard to say bye to summer when you love fall as much as I do. And I think fall is going to be utterly spectacular, just the way the flowers were. I think that God's showing off, but I also think that it's due to all the rain we got in June. That's made the flowers beautiful, and the foliage is going to be incredible.
Absolutely.
Anyone who wants to come visit, this is the fall to do it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, what's going on? I mean, there wasn't a lot that I see. When I have actual things going on in my life, I don't spend a lot of time on the internet. So I don't even know, is there anything going on in the world? Things I observed, yes, but it wasn't as busy of a week as when Trump was arrested and then, all that fun stuff. So I literally have nothing for you.
I don't have a lot either. The kids started school. I actually just had to put in, my last request to get my check at work was for 28 dog walks. I think I might be pulling dog walking records. So I've been really busy too, enjoying the weather. It's been beautiful out. But the kids started school. So far, so good, thank God. And hey, you know what? Last week we talked about the schmock downs coming back, and thank God it's a week and we're not playing that game. So I'm hoping that was just a little fear, and because what I'm seeing out there looks really normal, and these normies don't seem in the mood for that either.
They're going to
My
be
opinion.
holding that over our heads for the rest of our lives.
Of course,
You
like
know,
we talked about this week, but
yeah,
it's not.
you're right.
Yeah, yeah, and it will. This will always be fashionable with some of the NPCs.
Sorry.
That's all right. I love the green chair.
Did you see
Speaking
my
of
pajama pants that I'm also wearing? I'm all kinds of like pulling one of the people that had to do Zoom meetings where they're like, you know,
Yeah.
all put together on top, but literally I'm wearing my PJ pants and they're
I'm wearing
flannel. I pulled out the flannels, Faye. So am I
Nice.
conjuring it?
You're conjuring it, but that's okay. I'm over it. June. I mean, I'm just, I got to roll with the punches here. They stole June from us, and they're not going to give it back between their pride and their Juneteenth troll.
So this is true. Hold on. They're getting ready for the election, but isn't the election still like 15 months away? Like, it's still really far away. And I just think that it's going to be held over our heads. If that's what you're talking about, I assume.
That's a new name. Lucky Dog 1744.
Yes.
I love dogs, and I love lucky dogs.
All dogs are lucky to face.
I want all dogs. Well, not all dogs are lucky. Bluto wasn't very lucky when he was on the mean streets of Alabama looking for his next meal, Mary. He's got a backstory.
Oh, that's sad. I will say, I did have some time for YouTube shorts, especially yesterday when I wasn't feeling so hot. Guys, there's a lot of dog attacks on YouTube shorts. It's always like, people like helping people videos, but it's like, why are there like packs of dogs just going around in these areas? And you know that my brother-in-law, his mother was attacked by a pack of dogs when she was a little girl. And that's why to this day, she's terrified of dogs.
Yeah, well, that'll do it, which is amazing that I work with dogs after having my aggressive Leon burger. But yeah, my dad used to always tell me that. There used to be
he's from Mississippi.
Thank you. Our dog was on the mean streets of Mississippi. He didn't know where his next meal was going to come from. That's how I talk. I could go on and on about the hard days and friends were hard to find. And like, oh yeah, sometimes he meets another dog that has a backstory. Anyway, I want to talk about how my kids started school this week. Good news.
Sure.
Do you want to hear? Okay. So first of all, they like all their teachers. They're going to have a great year. I know it. I was thinking about my daughter, and my daughter literally at 15 has everything I would have wanted at 15. So there you have it, girl. Don't complain to me about anything. She's living it up.
I know.
So anyway, they really are. But so they like all their teachers. One of their teachers is a personal acquaintance of mine who loves me and my kids. So I like all their teachers. They like all their teachers. But want to hear the best thing of all?
Yes.
I think that this might be the only win I have ever heard in the longest time out of officialdom for parents. The new policy is that when they get to class, all the kids have to put their cell phone in a box that the teacher has, and they don't get it back until after class. Doesn't that seem like something that obviously should have happened years ago?
That's kind of where my mind's at. It's like, wait, they're only doing this now?
They're doing it now, and it's a wonderful policy. My kids came home yesterday, and they were all mad. They're like, oh, it was the worst. They took my phone and put it in jail. And I was like, that's the best thing I ever heard. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But like as little as that is a win for sanity.
Right. You remember I was telling you when my son went off to school, they had no contact. So they had no electronics, right? And he was like, he, of course, surrendered his phone because he's not addicted to it. But I guess a lot of kids, they wouldn't surrender their phone. And what I found out, which I was really disappointed to find out, that at this like pseudo military academy, they have certain like areas in the kids' rooms that are private. So these kids were bringing in contraband, being like vapes, nicotine gum, cell phones, and they had a drawer right there that they weren't allowed to search. So
Interesting. So
Yeah,
what happened? So what happened when the kids who wouldn't give up their phones refused? Like, what happened?
they just said they didn't have it. They weren't like holding it in their hand, like, nope, you're not getting my phone. They just said they didn't have it and they snuck it into the school. So it's
Oh,
like these kids are so cunning. They're I was too at their age. I know exactly, you know?
I was too at their age.
So so are kids gonna start having like two phones
Oh my
where
god!
they turn
Told you
like they're paid for
I
like
love
minute
the
by
phone.
minute phone at the teacher's desk, but then they have their real phone on them.
I've told this story before, and it's a true story. I was at a New Year's Eve party, and there was all these like cool kids there, and I was, I was buzzing. And I said to them, I was like kind of like getting into the phone thing, and you're all addicted to your phones, and they're no good. And I grew up without them, and they're better. I go, what if I gave you guys $1,000 to go without your phone for a year? And I had said it. Like if one of them said yeah, I would have had to give them $1,000, but they all said no.
Yeah, it reminds me of in the office where they're going to the trivia night and they're trying to take Ryan's phone, and Ryan's like, I can't, I can't, so he has to leave so he could have his phone. But yeah, I mean, I like to say I'm not completely addicted to my phone. I'd like to say that, but it wouldn't be true.
Okay, it probably wouldn't be true for me either. This is the truth about my phone. So my phone, I don't know like what was up with GPS today. Maybe it's because a lot of people were traveling. My GPS on routes that I go on all the time. That yeah, I still use the GPS for it. It was sending me different ways. I almost had a panic attack because it kept sending me this different way. I didn't know where it was. It like really dawned on me that I mean, I guess I could do my job without my cell phone. And I guess my job did exist before cell phones because it did. Like they used maps and pay phones and they flew by the seat of their pants. But my like without my phone, and it really is a tax write off for me because I cannot do my job without it. They're handy little tracking
I do have to
devices.
tell you this though. So I do think this is really, really boring. Sometimes it's like my husband's influence on me comes out, and I'm going to share something that literally nobody cares about, and nobody's ever going to need this information. But when we drove down to Florida, we did have an atlas in the car. And being in New York City, our cell signal wasn't great. Okay. So I pull out the atlas and I'm trying to figure out a different way to go. Make sure we don't go over the George Washington Bridge, which is notoriously a nightmare. Open up the atlas, and the way the crease was, like it was a spiral bound one. New York City was on two different pages, and the spiral bind of the book was like at the most important part, the part I needed the most, you know? So it was like even the paper, like old school, like maps and stuff, they're not what they should be either. So there's that.
Those crazy bridges going into New York, though. I mean, you can see that like it's some of it is like the underlyings of these bridges. I forget where I was. Joe will know, honey. When we last time we were going through New York, remember those crazy bridges? You could see like the antiquity underneath the bridges.
Oh,
Crazy.
wow.
Like those, that is so old.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
do know what you're talking
Yes. Yes.
about.
Like yeah, obviously like they put some new stuff over it, but you can see like this ancient looking stone underneath it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't see that on the George Washington Bridge, obviously, but there's a lot of like when you're going through the city there, like you're going into tunnels and stuff, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. I love listening to stuff on how like our history, especially with like mud flood and things like that, has been changed and hidden from us. And then it's like when I'm actually seeing things, it's like, oh, this is what
All
everybody's talking about. Mm-hmm.
all the time. I like I don't know if it was a mud flood or what, but like I it's random. You see like houses that have doors and windows. I see it everywhere I go.
This is hilarious. Sorry, I had to shut off my camera for a second. So Joe taught Faye how to read a map driving around Ireland in 2020.
No, 2000.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2000. But
Yeah.
wait, you just went back recently, didn't you?
Well, we took the kids. Our first big trip together. I mean, I think our first like big trip together, Joe and I, was in Ireland in 2000. And yeah, we used a map to get all around, and we had a blast.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think they had like GPS the way we have it now.
No, there was no smartphones.
Mm-mm.
No, there was no. I don't think that Joe had a smartphone. He still had like a beeper, maybe.
That's crazy. Not a beeper. No, that was flip phone because remember in 2001 with the magic phone calls from airliners that couldn't possibly ever have been made. So there were flip phones.
Magic phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I forget. I take Joe's word for it. He's better with time than me. I gotta go get Leo DiCaprio because I'm hot. I thought I have like a summery sweater on, but I'm a little hotter than I thought I'd be. Hold on. Oh boy.
Okay, so Joe's saying you didn't have a phone, Faye.
I didn't have a phone in 2000. I was the first one that got a cell phone. Okay? But then I was like the first one when they first came out. They were just calls, but I didn't like it.
I'm sorry. I stand by my statement on the Atlas. I think everything is shoddy nowadays. Yeah. Even when you're using GPS, it's like if you know the area you're in and you use GPS, let's just say that you're going like you're going to New Hampshire or Vermont and you put GPS on in your driveway.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to get to like 95 or the Pike or something, right? The way GPS is telling you to go, it's like, what are you talking about? Why would I go down all these side streets to get to 95? You know?
The GPS literally, and my daughter's my witness, took me in circles over and over again today. I think that I don't know, it's just to steal little precious moments of our lives. It's just, but then again, I am sort of a Luddite. I don't really like tech. Tech doesn't like me. The feeling's mutual, but I really like my phone for my job. It's much needed. Fluffy man cool. Leo's not going to cool you down. Ooh. Love it, Leo. Oh, what's
my
this?
Pervert husband.
Dude, what is this? Notes from a previous stream.
Yeah. So you were talking about the Rack'em Stack'ems.
Oh my lord. Okay. So there's a couple Rack'em Stack'ems I go into, and okay. Let me start with the conversation I had today in a Rack'em Stack'em, and I lost my ankle bracelet because I broke rule number 1 of wearing jewelry with dogs. And a bracelet's gone, and I feel naked without it. But anyway, so I'm in this. I had to scan my way in with my phone to get into the building. Okay. And then in order I could get into the elevator, but in order to make the elevator go anywhere, I had to use a key fob to put on this magnetic bar. And until then, the doors wouldn't open and the thing wouldn't move. But of course, I'm not good with tech. And this is my first time using the new key fob, which is a new step. Right. I've had to use a barcode to get into the building. But the key fob, now I got to carry a key fob around. And so thankfully there's a nice woman there that helped me because I didn't know how to do it. She came in. I go, what do you do when you guys have visitors? And she goes, oh, well, you either have to make sure that they have a key fob or they have to wait downstairs. I go, it feels more like a prison then. I'm like, it feels like you're in prison. And she's like, I know, it does. I don't know why they added that.
Yeah.
So they feel like prisons. They could instantly lock these people in and they wouldn't be able to get out. It's kind of alarming.
Yeah. The smart technology in all these buildings, like it starts as convenience, right? You can turn your lights on remotely. You can turn your heat up or down remotely, your AC. I have a friend who even his dad bought a smart refrigerator so you can check the temperature in the refrigerator. It's like that's going to be used against you, everybody, you know?
Well, and I just can't imagine the level of trust that these people have, and it's just, I don't know, so fearful. Everything's like locked up in codes, and it all requires tech to get in and out. You know?
Well, I don't think it's fear based. I think it's convenience. They're selling it as, oh, this is really convenient. And yeah, I guess the fear would be like, and this is safer.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
safer, so we know who's coming into our building.
Yeah.
You know,
like having to use a fob to make the elevator move and stuff. They freak me out. I basically said they feel like prisons. They don't feel like prisons. They kind of are prisons.
right?
They're just prisons that haven't been activated yet.
Already, you know, with all these environmental agendas that are being put in front of all of us, it's like they're going to be able to like turn down your heat if they see, you know, your heat's up too high. Nope, it's smart. This was convenient the way it was sold to you. The same with all this technology. It was all like sold in the name of convenience. And now people are like addicted to it. And there's an element of, yeah, we are controlled by it. You know, look at even going way back to TV. It's like we're just going to sit around as a family and we're going to enjoy some television programming. It's like, yeah, with its programming and its advertisements, you know, have fun with that, family. So, you know what's up.
I do. I mean, I do, but I don't, you know. I don't have all the answers. A lot of it's above my pay grade, but I know that the infamous the tears, the 1%, they're obsessed with us. They need to get lives.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so yeah, my son just texted me. So sorry.
How was your reunion with your son, by the way?
You know,
you have a nice reunion? Yeah.
I feel like I over the top, of course, and I'm like justifying it in my own head. It's the longest I've ever been out of contact with my baby boy since the day I gave birth. Because keep in mind, he was homeschooled. He was in my house every freaking day for like years. I think he went to school twice for 2 like years. So I was kind of like, all right, mama, you got to cut the apron strings. But when I saw the other moms at the orientation graduation and the way they were like running up to their sons, like squeezing them, I was like, okay, this is normal. You know,
it is normal. Of course it is.
And of course, I'm getting teary-eyed again because I'm
I texted you. I think it was on Sunday. I was like, I feel your pain because we were having dinner together, and I was sitting across from Dorian, my son, and I almost started crying. And I was like, he's going to be a senior. He's going to be 18. I literally could remember crying one time when you were little because you were going to get bigger, and here you are.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And there's Joe without any emotion on his face. These men don't get it. Is Mike the same way?
I'm not. I mean, men have their role to play as far as their sons are concerned. But yes, he is nothing like me.
Yeah, well, that's
like he's like, oh wait, you want to sign up for crew? You know, oh, very interesting. Oh, you're going to sign up for this, that. And I'm like, wait, all of this means he's not coming home on the weekends. I was like, why are you encouraging this? And we're driving home and, you know, that sucked. Finally, I turn around and I'm like, stop that vulgarity in my car.
Sucked, Mary, come on.
Sucked. No, there's a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 8-year-old, you know, there's little children here. And, Mike was like that night, of course, and then Fulton had to go to bed at like when he got home. He had to go to bed at like 9:30 because he'd been waking up at 5 all week, so he was like exhausted. And I turned to Mike and I was like legit mad at him. I was like, he's using this kind of language in my house. You know what the thing is, Faye? I'm the one in my kitchen dropping the F-bomb. Okay, but it's okay for me.
I've never heard you use the F-bomb.
I literally. I have, but oh, sorry, that sound was probably awful if people are using earbuds. But yeah, of course I have GD. You know, I did.
I allow,
I'm the drunken sailor in this house. I don't need another one. Okay.
yeah.
So,
My children are allowed to say sucked. I've been letting them say that for a while. They don't use it a lot. They're just not allowed to complain a lot because you know what? They're living the dream here. They have spoiled rotten.
that's a good point too. But I mean, he's right. That was complete. He could have used much stronger language, but yeah, it's tough. It's not easy, and I'm sure it did totally stink for him. You know, stink, not suck. So,
Yeah.
but as far as like me trying to like desperately hang on, it's like, where the hell do you think you're going, Fulton? You know? And Mike's like, all right, let's sign you up for this and let's see, you know, it's totally different, you know?
It's the way God created it. You know what I mean? We're the nurturers and we're the ones that should be like a little teary eyed to lose our boys. And you
Yeah,
know,
my husband's like filled with pride. He's like, good for him.
yeah.
Look at this young man we raised.
That's
And
like Joe. Joe's like he's gonna have his varsity year, and then I was like, and I'm like I'm making good money, and I'm like, and they help me a lot when the dogs are at the house, and I'm like, oh, thank you guys so much for helping with the dogs whenever they do, and I'm like, just remember this is money for our family, and I'm like, Dorian, you're gonna need a lot of money this year, probably, he needs to get a job, but. You're probably going to go to. I just kind of said it kind of like out of the blue. I says you'll probably like want to go to the prom and stuff. He's like, yeah, probably. I'm like, what? With who? What prom? And then Joe's just beaming like the proud father.
I think also not only like our mom heart, but there is an element. I'm going to say this for my husband. I'm not speaking for yours.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, are you falling into conformity? Because we're non-conformists. It's like, what do you mean he's signing up for crew? That sounds like something rich kids that go to BC do.
Yeah, I graduated BC and I'm not rich. Crew.
It's a stereotype.
Yeah, it is. It's true. I honestly think of crew as more as like the BU kids. But anyway, that's like Harvard.
Yeah, it sounds very pretentious. It's like. Yeah.
Crew.
What? You're doing
crew
what?
Like polo. But crew's a really good workout.
That's the only reason why my son was like, I want to join crew because I want to be
Did
jacked.
He join crew?
He was like, all the guys on the crew team are absolutely jacked.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
So did he join?
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, he joined. And I'm mad. I want him to already quit. You're quitting crew, son. You're coming home.
That's gonna take up more of his time. So yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. But anyway. So yeah, it does get more and more difficult being like a nonconformist alternative thinker and having your kids grow up into the world and they're making their own decisions at some point, and you're like, no, what do you think you're doing?
But with our boys too, like once they fall in love and that wife, she's gonna have more influence on him than you and I are, and that's just the way it is, and that's why I hope she likes me. You hate talking about. Look at me, Mary's about to snap. Are you okay?
I'm gonna have a cigarette. Okay, so that's the other thing. It's like, I'm happy that my son's going to a school that's only 7% female.
7%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can't be bringing somebody home yet. It's too soon.
Well, my son's going to the prom, so. And you know what? His first day of school was very like mysterious. So he's got senior privilege. So that means that his day ends really early. He just really made out like a bandit with his high school experience because COVID made him miss the first 2 years, which, freshman, sophomore. He gets to be homeschooled by mom. They took all his credits, which is fine. He gets straight A's, so it shows how much he needed them in the first place. But anyway, so he's got senior
privilege. They took all his credits?
Yeah, that I gave him as his as his homeschool teacher.
So he got no credit for that year?
No, he got all his credit.
Oh, I thought you said they took his credits.
Oh no, I said okay. I said these are the classes he did. These are the grades he got. And they
Okay.
Because he was very worried. Like he's with his friends where he would have been if this never happened, which was very important to him and me. You know what I mean? He's got his senior privilege. Like there was a part of me during the whole lockdown stuff. I was kind of worried. Like I never said this out loud. I was like, "You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine." But in my head, I was like, "Oh my God, is he going to have to repeat a grade? I don't know what's going to happen with all this." But thankfully, he is a senior with all of the kids that he's been with since he was 4 years old. He's already living it up. So he got out. He got out on his first day of school at noon. I think he came home around like 7. Where have you been all day? Oh, I've been at Michael's house. A big smile on his face. What's going on with you, Mr. Senior?
Okay, this is the other thing. This is one good thing about coming from a humongous family is so my son gets home, drives home with one of his cousins, not the cousin who goes to the school. Another cousin was with us in the car. Then he comes home and he decides the next day he is going to spend the whole day with the family. But then today he goes out with 3 of his cousins. He went over to his married cousin's house to chill out there for a while. It's like, even though it's like, where the hell do you think you're going? I'm so happy that he has, like, I always know where he is and the type of people he's with,
100%.
And that's why it's also important that like, of course you do, who your kids hang out with. Mm-hmm.
My kids hang around with the nerds. They really do, which is great. Not the good kids, but the like they, he doesn't go out partying or anything like that, and I like his friends a lot. I love his friends a lot. I would adopt any of them. They're all really good kids. So, but no, I've always said you were really fortunate because you did homeschooling. You have a huge family, and those boys are all really close.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not weird, but it's nice because I think there's like maybe 8 years between my son and his married cousin that he went to go hang out with today. But there's a group of guys in the middle, other male cousins that like just kind of fill that gap in. So it's like because me and my sister, we have a almost 9-year age gap.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't know because
the older you get, the smaller age gaps are,
Yes.
So, Joe, can you come up when you have a second, sweetheart? So, what else? We didn't have anything planned. That's good though about your son.
Yeah, so that was nice. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, everything did seem really normal. Like seeing families reunited with their children, to me, and the way the moms were hugging and the dads all being like so proud. So that's it's not just Joe,
I agree. That's a really, you know what I mean? That because I haven't really been on YouTube a lot this week, and I've been so busy. But busy for me is wonderful because it means I'm out in nature, and I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't sit in a cubicle behind a desk. Hell on wheels.
Haven't talked to Wheels
last week. Hell on Wheels. I quoted you in your amazing talk on living in a world with no accountability. But this week I feel better, and that is like the word, like things that felt really, really, and I hate to say it, but normal this week. And I really got the vibe that everyone was enjoying the normalcy. The nice weather helped with that, I think, a lot. But it really made me put away the fear of these lockdowns coming back. I really feel like people aren't feeling it.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So, yeah, I again, literally, I don't even know what to talk about right now. Does anybody want to jump on? Wheels.
Someone needs to jump on, hon. Give us some super hunk, something. I would love Wheels. Is anything on your mind? If anyone wants to jump on, yeah. Who's out there?
Who's out here? Let me share the link. Is that what I'm doing? Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if there's any takers, Faye.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, yeah, nothing really happened this week. What are we supposed to do? I did watch what did I watch? So I watched Into the Spider-Verse, the second one.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I binge watched that show about the Romans I was telling you about, Domina. Again, like, yeah, they're all, it's just who these people probably didn't even exist, but it's a good soap opera. It was good acting. It was really good. If you like that sort of thing,
Like
not
visually
appealing.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck to the story because I know my Roman history pretty well. And it's just very visually appealing, very good, very, very good acting. It's on Prime, and I watched all 2 seasons. It makes me want to go back and watch I, Claudius, which is my favorite for the Roman, not gods and goddesses, but the Caesars history. I, Claudius, black and white. It was on PBS a long time ago. Excellent. I'm such a nerd. Don't even listen to me.
Boring. Boring. You and Mike should have gotten married. You guys could sit and watch all this boring crap together. Feel like it's so titillating.
And you could marry Joe, and you guys could just chain smoke your way.
Freaking 24-hour-a-day party. We talk about that though, like with my sister. Also, my sister's so financially responsible, and so isn't my husband. But I'm not, and my sister's husband's not. So if like some weird like trick of fate, we got married to like the other person's husband, I'd be dead broke. I'd be like out in the streets somewhere. My sister and Mike would be like millionaires.
So I met my sister's husband before she did. And it was so funny too, because he's still very cute. If he'll hear me say this and be like, I'm not good looking now. He looked like Matt Dillon when he was younger. He really did. Okay. You remember. And so I met him first at a party, and I was like kind of a part of, I was still a party animal, but we were buzzing and we talked, and we were like, he looked good, and I'm sure he probably thought I looked good. I mean, he ended up marrying my sister. Do you know what I mean? But the weird thing is that, and we literally talked each other's ear off for about an hour at this party the night we met. My hand to God. But there was no physical attraction.
Like chemistry. You can feel like he's good looking, but there's no chemistry here.
Yeah. But we instantly hit it off and got along, and then he ended up marrying my sister, who he hadn't even met yet. The story to this day, we're just like, isn't that the weirdest thing, that like we liked each other, and like we were both like, it would be easy to like make out with someone at a party in those days, you know what I mean? But no, like we just talked to each other, and he was a big drinker back then, and I'm a big drinker. Nothing happened, because it was just so weird how like, and then he married my sister. It's very strange if you know me.
Yeah.
The guy looked like Matt Dillon. I think I was single too when I met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like you recognized that it was your brother.
I did. Well, he kind of always looked like my brother. Prison Mike. Prayers for Prison Mike, by the way. He's back in prison. Did you know that? I know he wouldn't mind. Prayers for my brother. And you know what? I feel very convicted. I don't know if you've ever visited anyone in prison out there, but when you visit someone in prison, there's not enough showers to get that prison feeling off you. But because my father is no longer with us, my dad would be the one that would like go and, bring him, and my dad's not here. So I have to go visit my brother. And I know I said that last week, and now I'm still saying it, but I really feel convicted that I have to. I got to suck it up, Mary. The Bible says to go visit people in prison.
The Bible says that?
Yeah, go visit. It says visit the widows and orphans in their affliction. I know that there's something about visiting people in prison too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't want to be a downer. Are you okay?
No, that's not a downer. I no.
He didn't
I've never been to prison. Never been arrested. Knock on wood.
God. There's a part of him that likes it. I'm sorry. There's no other way around it. He got drunk. And he broke I don't know what he did, but
broke the law. He got drunk, broke the law, and Now he finds himself there. Yeah.
Prison Mike's back in prison. Maybe when he gets out this time, we'll think of a different name. We can't call him Prison Mike anymore.
Yeah.
Joe, if you're listening, Joe, you need to make me go visit my brother. Joe won't come with me because Joe told my brother, I'm never going to visit you in prison again, which is just kind of like tough love, like stay the hell out of prison.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sweating. It's upsetting. Go ahead.
I got nothing. I literally still, it doesn't matter what you say to me. For some reason, it's like, because I wasn't feeling well for a couple days, I feel like my brain is like it's buffering. I'm it's just everything's processing. Nothing's going on. Do you want me to put on like something to react to? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's react.
You want to react?
We have to have it at least be an hour, okay? For all those moms that are taking a nap.
The moms, we put them to sleep tonight. They're like, oh, this was perfect. This is just what I needed.
Yes, and I won't don't put any noise, like crazy noises like I did last week. I felt bad.
Well, I don't know what to react to. Like, hold on, how about, I don't even know. Should I just share my screen? Should we go through YouTube Shorts? What do we do?
I got my notebook. I got my notebook here.
All right, good. Fada saved the day. I feel like for the past 3 lives, I've been like chatty Cathy, and tonight I'm just.
I don't really have anything. This is just notes from other streams. What the hell is this? A melted elastic.
Maybe I'll just call one of my siblings and make them talk to us.
Joe, why don't you call in, honey?
Just randomly call one of my siblings. All right, Hell on Wheels has taken pity on us.
Hiya.
Hi, Wheels.
How you been?
Pretty good. Not a lot going on, as you can see. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I'm just dealing with clowniness as usual.
Tell us what you're seeing out there. What's going on, Wheels?
Well, I gotta tell you guys, the clouds today are completely fine. There's nothing weird about them at all. Nothing at all. There's totally normal. Totally fine. No. Not at all, dude. The fucking clouds for the last couple weeks around here have been really fucked up. Like, I leave my house in the morning, I look up in the sky every morning, and I go, what the fuck, man? Sorry.
Is there a lot of spraying?
There's a lot of, yeah, there is. And it's very obvious, and they, start out early in the morning. Just even on my way, and every single morning right now, which they've been making a big deal about it on the local news and stuff, about how it's so weird that the mornings and stuff are so gloomy, and it's very obviously a blanket of I don't know what.
Ooh,
gaslighting this on the news. I can always get into can I say the word, Mary? The cloudies.
The clouds.
I would say I probably it's the biggest crime I've ever witnessed in my life is what's going on in the sky. Mary's the one that told me about it. I don't know if you ever heard what happened when I found out about it. I almost had a nervous breakdown, and after she told me, I was running in my house from my dining room window to my living room window, back and forth, screaming, "Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that?" And then my family had to have an intervention the next day because I was going to lose I was going to go insane. But I personally think that's the normal reaction when you find out about them. So I stand by it. That's what everyone should do.
I'm more worried about the well-adjusted to the deeply disturbed society that we live in. And something, I'm quite, I don't know if I'm surprised or whatever, but I'm actually I found it interesting that you mentioned my accountability stream earlier. That because I was even thinking about, because I'm dealing with a lot of just stupid, goofy bullshit in California right now, and the lack of personal accountability that exists in this state and in the laws is insane.
Yeah. It was a really, really, really important stream, and I think about it. I think about it all the time. And I see it. I didn't watch a lot about with the Maui fires, but that's kind of what made me think about it because nothing's going to happen to any of these people, and it's all in broad daylight for everyone to witness. So what's going on with you in California? Do you want to share any of it?
I can't share a lot, but there's just been like a lot of interesting stuff with there's a lot of things I can't share right now yet, but because I'm like kind of I'm in a weird situation. But the one thing that I have noticed that is getting like more and more disturbing that I can absolutely share about is you guys are aware of what DEI is, right?
I don't know.
So DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh, okay.
If you look around, it's everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. So the only thing I can really vaguely allude to is it is even affecting our laws.
Hmm.
So if you have to deal with the legal system, like let's say you deal with a violent crime or something like that, there's a good chance that even a serious crime, because they get like good behavior credits and it's all this restorative justice stuff, somebody could literally try to kill someone and only get like 2 years in prison. Here.
Based on what?
Based
What kind
on
of diversity? Like, I see what you're getting at, but could you be a little bit more specific?
Oh yeah. So basically they have this idea that like prisons and stuff are, you know, they're we don't need retributive justice. We need restorative justice, and they'll especially like when you kind of challenge them on it. I feel like I don't know how much of it is the DEI. The DEI is in everything else, like the corporate culture, but they're afraid to actually put anyone in jail or prison too long because of because they just think they just they're just super liberal, and they're like prison is racist, so we can't have people go into prison. We can't have people go into prison because it might just hurt people and stuff like that.
Right. So this ties into a certain demographic. So it's almost like affirmative action in
Yeah.
now happening, or I guess would it be reverse? I forget, but it's like almost like the population of even prisons has to be a certain demographic. And is that what you're referring to? Because I have heard about that also happening.
Yeah, it is kind of that, like they're not blatant about it or anything, but they are definitely trying to give people, let's say, like way smaller sentences than they deserve.
Yeah, yeah. I have also seen that. It's funny because I was saying to my husband, it's not funny. This is totally off the subject, actually. But I was saying to my husband how right now we're seeing a huge increase in insane amounts of violence, right? So we have one thing I've noticed is familicide has gone through the roof. I shouldn't laugh.
Could you remind me what familicide is? Is that like family annihilation?
Exactly, like a mom or a dad.
Okay.
And yes, and it has gone through the roof. So we have seen this increased level of like extreme violence. And then what we have simultaneously, I mean, is the sentences becoming less because nobody has like the death penalty anymore. So we have all these like lifers without parole in the prison system. So the prison system gets completely overcrowded. And then their solution is like, well, we're going to turn to rehabilitation. It's like, I'm sorry, there are some people that you can't rehabilitate, like sex offenders, of a certain caliber. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just think I always make a joke. I'm like, some chop chop sex offenders, chop chop.
Right, right. I
For
feel like
for real sex offenders. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for 1 second.
sure.
There are a lot of people in prison right now that don't belong there. Okay, if you're a guy and you just like relieved yourself behind a tree, I think in Massachusetts you can be charged with being a sex offender. Okay, how many people are in prison for marijuana? And now there's dispensaries everywhere. So I don't have any answers, but I do think that there's a lot of people in prison that do not belong there.
Oh no,
Right.
I don't disagree. I think prisons should be for the people that absolutely cannot be like dealt with any other way. That's how I feel about prison in general. It's just but it's not even just the prison system, it's just the complete lack of accountability in California in general. There's like every time somebody, no matter what somebody does, there's always somebody popping up with an excuse like, but their childhood was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
RT's here. RT.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you all?
Well, how are you doing?
Good.
Well, I'm fine. I'm just bitching about California like I always do.
Yeah, man, oh man. You know,
Have you guys talked before, RT and Wheels?
I don't think so.
Nope.
But I have a lot of respect for the fella, for sure.
Yeah. I hope you follow
Absolutely.
his channel too. He does some really good talks on his channel.
Yeah, when
Excellent.
I have time. I haven't had any time lately, but I've been like itching to get back on there
Yeah,
love
yeah, I get it.
and
Definitely.
like say something because it's getting stupid out here. It's getting
Oh,
real
yeah.
stupid.
Well, you know, I've been to California. I've been to San Francisco, and
My condolences.
you know the but it was back in like 2013, and you know the Napa Valley and the wine country, and it was all great, and we had a great time, and you know my wife has been to San Diego, and that was back when it was fun, and so but yeah, it's you know it sounds like it's just devolved into the absolute worst debauchery. You know, if what we hear is true, it's like complete disaster. You know,
Oh
but
yeah, let me try to paint a picture of Clownifornia for you.
yeah,
Uh,
please do.
imagine the movie Idiocracy.
Yeah,
And you know, they're building the AI that like, I don't know if any of you watched the movie Idiocracy, but one of the things that didn't really occur to me until fairly recently is that Idiocracy's world was run by AI too, because everyone else was too dumb to do anything. So then I got
right.
thinking, like, they got all this AI stuff, and they're always all like, oh, Chat GPT is so great, but like, most people don't even, like, I think most people were already only reading at a fourth grade level 15 years ago, and it's only gotten worse, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking about how, like, basically Clownifornia is going to be probably the first like real idiocracy type setup, I think, because we have the AI. We're the idiots that unleashed the fresh hell of AI onto the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not me. I'm not from here, and I want everyone. I want everyone to remember I am not from here.
You're from a state that is just as bad. Let's be honest.
All right, you know what?
Where are you
That's
from?
fair. I'm from New Jersey. It's like mini California,
Kind
but
of
what?
You're breaking up a little bit, RT.
It's all right. Go ahead, Wills.
So yeah, it's yeah, New Jersey. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're right. It's really bad. I call my I call some people from there sometimes, and they're just like, shit, this place is turning into mini California.
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
know
just
what
like,
stinks?
well,
So again, I had to put my hair back. So I listen to a lot of preppers, as you know, it's one of my hobbies, and they're out in like Tennessee and all these like really nice rural areas. And what's happening is all these people that destroyed all these liberal states are now trying to like move to areas where they could sell their house for like, let's say, $650,000, and then move to a state like Tennessee where they buy a house for like $250,000, right? And then
mhm.
they all start this mass exodus to what would be considered like a conservative state or whatever, or what is it, red and blue? I forget how the
Yeah,
colors.
red states.
Yeah,
You know,
and they go,
the Coke states.
yeah, so they go into these states and then they bring their political ideals and then they start destroying these states that they're like mass migrating to. And it's interesting because we saw that on the East Coast. Years ago, New Hampshire started basically vetting people who wanted to move from Massachusetts to New Hampshire, unless it was like a city. You know, if you want to move to like a major city, you're not going to get vetted. But anybody who wants to buy land, it became really difficult to even get a showing on the property. So the
The
writing was
free,
on the wall to some
free,
states, but other
the
states
free
weren't. Go ahead.
no, they called it the Free State Project.
Yeah,
It was like-minded people. Was that related to? Is that who was doing the vetting?
I've never heard of that, but it
Okay.
may be.
Okay, so I never heard of the vetting that you just said, but I do know that the Free State Project, what they looked around the country, a group of like-minded people, and they chose New Hampshire.
Oh,
But the
so
vetting
maybe
sounds official. Like, who has the right to vet people to move to a state?
because what it is, it's basically what we're seeing happening now over in Maui, right? The people are really careful who is making bids for their land, and because they don't want to see their land taken over, so it becomes like a personal responsibility type of thing. Like if people are selling their land up in New Hampshire, they'd be like, you know, this is the price, but I don't want anybody from New Hampshire. I don't want anybody from New York, because those people come in and they raise the property values and then they bring their politics with them.
Right.
So all these other states are kind of starting to wake up to that too, right? Where they're like, yeah, it was a free for all. Like Tennessee right now is waking up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for them too. Like, I'm gonna be heading out in like a minute or two. I only had a few minutes, but you know, I really think that even some people here in California, I just want to like real quick, I just want to real quick just say something to Melanie's point, and that is, you know, there definitely are awake people in California. That's for sure. I'm here, like I'm here too. There's a lot of people I talk to that are awake. It's just that so many people, the people that are brainwashed, are so extremely brainwashed that it's like we're not even, me and a lot of the other Californians aren't even living on the same planet.
Yeah. That's more than just politics.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just in general, like the whole. I don't even left, right, center. I don't care. But I'm just saying in general. Anyway, I
Yeah.
gotta go. Someone's at my door.
All right.
See you.
Take care.
Wheels,
Thanks,
it was
Wheels.
good to talk to you. I hope you post soon. Bye,
Um,
Wheels.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Wheels. Thank you, RT. I love
hope
the knights in shining armor who come charging in, and you and I are like two deflating balloons on our own live.
But I know I could just to speak on one thing that Wheels say. That's when
Right.
I think I saw about 2 face diapers today. And those people are different. It's a different planet. It's a complete different reality than I'm in. I just like if I could ever sit down and talk to those people, I don't even know if we would be able to understand each other's language. I don't.
The way I look at it is living in Massachusetts. again, remember, was it last live or a couple lives ago? I was saying to my mom, can't we just get out of here? She's like, where the hell do you think we're going, Mary? But, oh, RT's back. But really quickly, to finish my point, it's like with all these people fleeing the state, who's going to be left? It's almost like, do you dig your heels in, or do you go to all these other states that are about to go through what your state already went through?
I'm blooming where I'm planted, and as things are returning to quote unquote normal, I love where I live. I live near the ocean. I've ever went to an Asian supermarket today to buy amazing ramen noodles. I mean, I can't do that out in the boonies. And they were so good. Archie, welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can
What's
hear
on
me.
your?
Yes.
Can.
Oh my God.
What's on your mind, Archie? What's going on?
Hey. Some of the things, some of these truther channels can put fear in people like that, like no other. Like,
Yeah.
these stories about like this stuff about to happen again and blah blah blah. Like, come on! But you sound so much better. You follow me? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
And Archie, I was thinking about it a lot. I'm not going to forget too. I'm not going to forget in September, October, November, when what you said didn't happen. You guys got to turn it around because it's feeling normal out there, and I'm going to thank God for that. I'm never going to forget what happened. I know it's possible.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't forget it. I can't forgive it.
Right.
On a large scale, I can't forgive it on certain things. But hey, a week ago, I was at a outdoor, concert, big act down in Georgia. There's 12,000 people, including me, and all I got to say is I would just be shocked beyond belief that any of this stuff, no matter what they try to like pull over or whatever, like the general public and especially the younger people in college right now, they're like, no, hell to the no. There's no way we're going to go with that. I've been like, almost like, have a new faith in humanity in what I've seen. And so anyway, I'm just saying, like, I almost like can't even talk about it because it's so dumb. But they can.
RT, when I had to step, Joe made me, because I last week I said that I started freaking out about it a little bit. My husband made me stop listening to it, and when people started bringing up fear, I would turn it off. And for once, it's like the blue pills are making me feel better about being alive right now, because like you just said, I didn't go to a concert or anything, but these people are living their lives, and it doesn't seem to be on their radar.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, it's almost like I don't want to even breathe life into that stupidity, type thing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, So today, spent some time down on the farm, and it's always great to just
lucky
interact with these cows, and I don't know. I make videos and like pretend to have conversations with these beasts, but like it's so funny. Like even today, I haven't uploaded it yet, but like I was talking, making a brief video and like talking about like this nonsense, pretending that they're asking me, have I heard of that this stuff is back, becoming a thing again, and like almost on cue, this cow, turns his ass to me and just like, that's some bullshit. It's hilarious.
We should play it. Let's play it.
Well, I haven't uploaded it yet because I was just down there and I recorded it. So
that's hilarious.
I'm just saying, like these beasts, almost like, I just used them as a canvas, and they're not long videos at all. It's just for shits and giggles, right?
Right.
But it's just so hilarious how they almost like on cue do shit that's like so funny. I don't
Oh,
know.
there's
I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know, I'm not the cow whisperer, but
right.
or am I? I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe you
I'm
are.
convinced. I don't work with. I work with dogs. You work with cows.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
convinced that these dogs know so much more English than we give them credit for. Like it was downpouring earlier this week, and I walk rain or shine because I have gear.
Right.
These people. I had my 2 standard poodles outside, okay, and one's Winnie, and she just wants to go in. She's getting all wet. She's a fancy poodle, and I said, Winnie, as soon as you do your business, you can go in. And as soon as I said that, she did her business, and she pulled me back to her house. And that's one of many stories. So I'm
Oh
sure
yeah. I mean,
if you've raised these
yeah.
cows, they've heard you their whole life.
Well, but to be fair, we rent the property, and there are other people that actually are the ones that own these cattle. But I visited and managed the property in a way, so I know these cows, but they're not technically mine.
So
like,
RT, when I was a
Yeah.
child, I lived on a small piece of land, and abutting where we lived was a field of cows. I got ringworm from cows because I love these freaking cows. They would see me coming
Yeah.
and they would line up along the fence. I was about like 5 or 6 years old. I think that
Right.
cows don't get enough credit. Maybe this is why they're worshipped in some cultures. I'm not saying that's right. I think that's weird also. But I'm just
No,
saying
I know
they
what you're
seem to be
saying.
intuitive, right?
Yeah, they're they can be like a calming beast. They're very, like, of course, if you get them all flustered and they start, all in a herd, like running a certain way. But like if you catch them when they're just sort of docile, they're just enjoying the sun and flapping their ears and wagging their tail to knock off the flies and just, and they surprisingly, they respond to the human voice in a way that, back, my late father, he had he and my grandfather had a dairy farm, and then after my grandfather passed away, and then it turned into like a beef cattle operation where we truly, had the cattle and spending summers and like putting up hay for them to eat and in the deep snow. I would go to basketball practice and then leave there to go help Pop, feed the hay and in the snow, in the dark, and you kind of get the idea, where kind of where I came from, but like there really is something about the calming nature and docile and just sort of like that you see these big eyes that they have, and there's something really, I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it, but like when you describe an animal, like clearly dogs, with their big eyes and so forth, everybody has a soft spot for dogs. But like when you talk about other animals that are just like kind of like universally beloved, it's going to be these beasts.
Right.
It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's just true.
Yeah, I've had a hard time eating beef. Like I do eat it, and Joe will never give it up. But I found a farm. It's and they raised it. It's their own meat. They raised cruelty free.
Right.
That's what they're telling us. I paid like $50 for a couple of ribeyes. It was a treat, I guess. But
yeah,
it's worth it for me. I'm not going to eat it that often, so I'm not going to eat that often. I'll pay a little bit more to get not the good meat, but like I love cows, and
I was about to say, and they're delicious. I have no problem. They're beautiful. Just like deer are magnificent creatures. They're also delicious. I mean,
sometimes when I don't have red meat for a while, my body will tell me I need it. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
But I think that our satanic society in these like big, like I don't need to get into it, but like they deliberately put fear into the cows, RT. You know what I mean? To get
Sure.
It's sick.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay away
Yeah.
from that. But
Yeah. Yeah. I totally, it's like, we must put on our adult riches and realize that, these are creatures that are here to provide for humans, and, and that kind of thing. And, people's diets is all a personal thing, and, more power to anybody that can just like, steer away from any kind of like animal products or whatever. More power to you, but like so many people find when they try to do that, it's like, that things are kind of going off kilter here.
yeah.
So I almost think, it's kind of like, talking about religion, politics, and diets. You almost have to these days throw in diets, because, it's almost like, look, we're never going to, come to terms with it. If you're one way and, I'm a different way, we're just never going to resolve it. So we might as well not, go down that path.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, but,
I think that
but
it's just personal.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, I'm not. I don't want to. I was just on the road here driving back, and didn't want to monopolize or.
It's always good to hear you. I heard you calling to Brian not too long ago.
Yeah, man, it's always fun.
I
love Brian. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I never call into him. I you know what it is with the Mandela and his streams? Like, it's so. I'm just like too busy trying to take it all in, RT. So
yeah.
But I like what were you saying? You were just saying about like the history stuff, and I think you mentioned like Black Tom, and you do. I don't know if you know this, RT. I'm just isn't like a flex or a brag. It's kind of like I'm kind of embarrassed that I paid money for this. I have a degree in history. It's like,
oh, you did? Yeah, that's cool.
Well, yeah. Is it? I mean, I obviously don't like money because I'm a professional dog walker. But when I was getting I never learned about Black Tom. I never learned about it's crazy. It's crazy. So
yeah, I think I called in because I was like, look, I'm always the kind of person like I'm kind of skeptical of certain things. Like, I totally believe that the Mandela effect is real, 100%, because I've seen it myself. However, when I say that, there are so many things that are pushed that are like easily explainable. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like that's, and by bringing some of these weak Mandela effects up, it makes it kind of like, it dilutes it and kind of like detracts from the real thing. And so I was just bringing up with Brian, like, hey, look, I've just never heard of it. And that can just be, I've never heard of this situation that I'm going to talk about. However, that could just be that, like, I'm not a student of World War II history to the degree that, like, this should just be, walking around knowledge for people that are into that. But it was like this concept called Operation Aphrodite, in the 1943, 1944, where the U.S. military converted these huge ass bombers into like pilotless drones that could
What year again? Mary, I hope your husband's listening to this, because I never heard
1943, 1944, Operation Aphrodite, where they converted. Yeah, I'd never heard of it either. I had another, just by happenstance to another, just on a channel, and some dude, mentioned it, like, hey, have y'all looked into this? It's like, what the hell is that?
I wouldn't remember.
They described them as drones. You look on Wikipedia, it was like, well, like, I don't recall the term drone being even anywhere in our vernacular.
Wasn't in our vernacular. I would have remembered Aphrodite because I'm obsessed with like Greek and Roman history too.
Right.
No, like, it's just to have anything driverless and drones, like remote control cars were a big thing when they were invented. That, toy remote control cars. There were no remote control warplanes. Mary, I'm interested to hear what you have to say. He's a real.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
military
and
historian.
we're not, and we're in Faye, we're not talking about like, kamikazes. We all, remember, the Japanese kamikaze pilots that would just like,
Right.
they would sacrifice themselves and just drive their planes into the big, U.S. ships or whatever. This is a totally different thing, where these things were like, quasi remote controlled big ass planes that could just drop bombs, remotely. I mean, I don't know. It just blew my mind. But like, again, I'm not saying that it's not just a lack of knowledge of, World War II history. But anyway, I find the whole thing pretty interesting.
It is. It's at the very least, we need to be thankful that we're not living in a boring time, right, guys?
Okay, can I ask you this? Was JFK's brother involved, or is this a thing?
What's that?
So Mike said it's what killed JFK's brother, Joe. I think his name was
Bobby.
These drones took him out.
Oh. We all know the magic bullet took out JFK.
Well,
whole thing.
There was something. Yeah, Mary. Now you mentioned that, this dude also connected that, and I didn't even look into it, but like there's something to that. It was like some connection. So, kudos to that. Like,
there's so much
weird stuff.
I've never heard of it, but it already, the antenna's going up. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, you know what, Mary? We didn't really have anything to talk about this week. I might want to make a little time to like re-look JFK stuff, because I don't know. I haven't really like looked into it. I've watched. First of all, there were 4 people in the car in that black and white video I watched many times. That's what I know. Now, Mary, we all know that there's 6 people in the car. But do you know that now in like 1967, 1960, whenever it happened, I want to say 67, was it 69?
No, 60. I thought it was. Oh my gosh, we should know this. Is it 67?
It's one of those. It's in the 60s. But in the 60s, there used to be the Zapruder film. Okay? Now I guess that there are like multiple films in color, Mary. Because like everyone back in the 1960s walking around.
I noticed that a while ago, that I was like, because with me, I'm really into how the internet makes 63. No. Yeah. Was it 63? I gotta look it up. Sorry, not that I doubt you, Stu, but for my own sanity.
63.
You out there, hi, Stu. Miss you, Stu. I was thinking about you today.
You already looked it up? The first thing that came up was Kennedy assassination limo. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. I must have looked that up before. All right. Kennedy is 63, November 22nd.
Yeah.
63. All right. So anyway, but what was I about to say?
60 years ago. It's incredible. So there'll be a big 60th anniversary, I guess.
Oh, wow. I wonder if they'll do some truth drops. They were promising us some truth drops, remember?
You know what?
The RFK thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we're going to open up the heretofore, forbidden, vault of the, whatever. Like,
yes,
come on, man.
Like unclassified or declassified. All of a sudden.
Tell us what the fuck. Excuse my language, but tell us what the hell happened. I mean, come on.
No, the bottom line. So on the internet, there's all these pictures that. Oh yeah, he's right. 1122 equals 33. I don't know why I spaced on that. I hate that. I just did that. But anyway, on the internet, and it's like old-timey photo of this, that, or the other thing, and it's like that's a modern person, because for some reason you can actually tell that it's a like recreation. It's just like sepia tone, but it's an actual a modern person, and I think we're gonna start seeing that as the anniversary approaches.
Or even like I was just going to say even AI kind of like kind of weird creations that you can't tell, like, is this real or what's going
Yeah.
on? Like,
Well, that would be
it's the
scary.
blurring of reality versus like fake reality. That's the thing that's kind of like a little
It
bit
is. And
bizarre.
we have
That's scary. Yeah.
That's why I think we need to
Yeah.
be praying for discernment all the time. I was eating my delicious ramen noodles. I go out the Asian supermarket today in front of the TV, as I do. And so I was going through YouTube to look for just something different. You know what I mean? And they were like, all of a sudden, I have no interest in this woman. I can't think of a single movie I've watched with her. But they're like, new found footage of Katharine Hepburn. You know that actress?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
crappy.
Yeah,
I cannot
seriously?
stand her.
Yes. And I didn't watch it, but I was like, newfound footage, whatever. It's
How
not
can that
newfound.
be?
It's all
Yeah.
AI.
Oh, you're so
Yeah, for
right.
sure. Yeah.
It was crazy,
Yeah.
but like that's where we're going.
And
There's
who
gonna be a
wants footage of her? I want footage of somebody good. AI, generate footage of somebody good. Like, I don't know.
It's kind
of like we shouldn't be shocked if newfound footage of the Beatles, for example.
That's what I'm
wow.
thinking. Like,
Yeah.
So that's I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
follow Sage of Quay. I find Sage
Oh,
of
I do.
Quay.
I love. Mike has done some stuff on the Beatles.
He's extremely relaxing
incredible.
for me. Sometimes I just need to turn off
yeah.
the current events and listen to him. But he called it too. He's like, there's going to be newfound footage of the Beatles writing, composing, you know what I mean? All the stuff that hasn't been there all along.
yes.
Right.
Well, remember that song "Free as a Bird,"
Yeah.
right? And that was released how many years after John Lennon's death? It was probably in the 90s, so probably like what? I'm guessing 15 years maybe. And they were like, it's remastered. And then they like, was it remastered? Did they actually get the other like surviving Beatles into a studio? How long has this technology been with us? Because it wouldn't shock me if that was just AI generated, that song.
Good
whatever
point.
they're giving
Good
us,
point, Mary.
I used to think that they were 100 years ahead of us, but now I just think that they have everything, and they've had it all along. It's like this isn't. And I used to think humans were on top of the food chain, but now I know that there is something above us that's kind of feeding on our misery a little bit.
But
Anyway.
Mike, Sage of Quay, he's like the consummate professional. He's so spot on and professional, and then like he'll say like, hey, you can leave a comment, but like be respectful, otherwise I'm going to delete it. Like he's telling you right now, like I'm not going with any of this garbage and shenanigans. So you boys and girls, play nice, or you're going to get sacked into the corner. I like that.
He's always been a class act. I like him. I do. I
Yeah.
find him extremely relaxing. When Joe and I went to Flattoberfest in 2021, he was one of the speakers, and his
Did
talking,
you meet him?
I didn't stand in line to meet him, but
Okay.
his talk was
but you saw him. Yeah.
I wasn't on
sure.
the Beatles. It was on the current situation. He's awesome. So yeah,
Hey, I'm gonna switch real quick, Mary, to pop culture. Did you happen to were you ever Justified? The TV series, the net or whatever. Did you ever watch Justified?
No, I haven't.
We're too old for that, but I know what you're talking about.
How about you, Faye? Did you ever see that? Watch that?
We were a little too old for that, but I know the girl was something Justice. I know the show, right?
Yeah. It's a show with Timothy Oliphant was the sheriff, and it was on originally, and then they it like I don't know 5 seasons in the maybe it went off in the mid-teens. But anyway, there was a new season that just happened, here recently and wrapped up this week. And what was interesting, though, I think there'll be another season because it seemed like they left a cliffhanger on the end. But like, what was interesting, this is why I brought it up, was this like I think Wheels mentioned some of this, I don't know if it racial or
The
these things.
DEI,
And
diversity, equity, inclusion.
Yeah, and you can see that stuff everywhere. But like, it was almost like, the lead actor Timothy Oliphant. He's he's got age on him like all of us, but like he's still fit and everything. And like, so then he develops this love interest
I gotta look him up.
who was
Ooh, exactly. I just perked up in
a
my
black
seat.
woman.
We're like,
a black,
man, let's look him up. Like Mary and I are very easy.
Yeah,
Who's
he's-
Timothy?
yeah, Timothy Oliphant. Like elephant,
Yeah.
but like Oliphant or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
driving,
I know.
so I can't really punch it in.
Oh,
Oh
well,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So and then the love interest on this new series was like this black woman who like it just didn't translate. Like there's I kept telling my wife, like, there's no way this would ever have happened in real life. This is kind of like being pushed on us in a weird way. You can kind of see like the actors are sort of like, well, hey, we're just doing our thing. This is clearly not, there's no chemistry here on screen. But anyway, it was just I just
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. Like, it pushed on. It's the ugliness, and I was thankful that Matt from Quantum brought it up this week too. After we brought it up, because I was like, well, I almost didn't want to talk about it because, like, you don't want to come off as superficial, but it's obvious that they're pushing relationships and ugliness that don't go together. And then Matt from Quantum, who he was talking about how the constant presentation of unlikable and like just repulsive creatures, and it's not in your head, RT. And I know what you're saying. It's like, there's beautiful black woman, okay? Any gorgeous white man that's with Naomi Campbell or Gabrielle Union, I'm gonna believe that all day. But it's like they deliberately are like putting together like that.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're saying. Thoughts, Mary?
exactly.
Unfortunately, I don't know who you're talking about, so I can't interject any thoughts. But I will say, we were watching, me and my daughter who walked out of the room because that woman, Hillary Swank, was horrible. She was horrible. So my daughter wouldn't watch that show with me.
I'm sorry. If I was going to be an actress and my last name was Swank, wouldn't that be the first thing I changed? Just like, anyway.
Yeah. But then we were watching Girl Interrupted, and then my daughter was like, wait, is this like a mental hospital for like supermodels? So I mean, you kind of can't win, because it's like in Girl Interrupted, it's like Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie, Brittany Murphy.
But there was no, I haven't seen Girl Interrupted in years, okay?
Yeah.
But that was like a good movie if you want to see like crazy women. Yeah, I mean, you can look out your window, everybody. But if you want to see crazy women in a movie, it's Girl Interrupted. And I don't remember a single lesbian relationship, Mary. It just wasn't.
Winona Ryder does get a little high, and then she kisses Angelina Jolie, but it's a peck. And my daughter goes, "Oh, she was just high." So I guess that was okay. So.
Yeah.
But
and I will say that I was just gonna add that, like, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Matt or one of these dudes was like, back in the old days, when you would like flip through the movie channels, and you would see like, oh, there's nudity. It would generally mean like, right, wrong, or indifferent. Like there's going to be a woman that you're going to see, boobs or whatever. Yeah. And now
it's like
you see that, it's like it's like, are we going to see dudes? I mean, what's going on? I mean,
what's going to happen? We need to tune in and find out who's naked in these movies.
I'm sorry, Archie. Archie, we all need to shut our brain. I mean, I can just speak for myself. I like to shut my brain off, and like Mary said last week, a little escapism. And you sound like you're a little bit of a history buff. Domina on Prime was very visually appealing and good acting. Just putting it out there for people. It was good. It's supposedly about Livia, who's like a sexy Hillary Clinton. She's such a scumbag, but you don't have to be a woman to like it. I thought it was like good. And
Speaking of which, did you all ever watch the original True Crime with it had Matthew McConaughey? This is the original. It was on HBO, but it's if you haven't, it's classic.
True Crime called?
True Crime. Yeah.
It's a movie?
Matthew McConaughey and I can't remember the other dude, but like it was just they would be like. Have you ever seen it, Mary?
No, but I love that you're giving me a suggestion. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, yeah. The original one. Now they've done other episodes later, and that like it's nowhere near. But like you got to watch the original True Crime. Matthew McConaughey and the other dude, which I'm remiss at. Yeah, but like it does like this great flashback, kind of stuff like it shows them in current time, and you can see a little bit of how broken they were to try to solve this crime, and they go back in time and they look younger. It's really well done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I love the suggestion. One of the classes my kids are taking in high school for this semester is a history of film or something. So guys, don't be too excited.
I took a great college course. It was called America Through the Media. It was all about like the propaganda in film, and the entire class was us watching movies and the professor getting like really pissed off. It was the best course I ever took in my life.
I could tell
that's awesome.
It's very rare for my kids to get kind of excited about a class.
Yeah.
But I was telling you, I'm an acquaintance of the teacher that's teaching it. But like, it's not like Casablanca or like anything that we in our age group guys would have considered classics. Like I think they're watching like even Mary at this point, if they watched Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan, I'd be like, oh, well, that's before great. That's great writing.
What are they watching though? I'm Casablanca. I was just telling my daughter the other night that movie sucks. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, if you're listening, if you could put a couple in the chat, they were more modern. But you and I were like totally fine with it. It's like, you know what? Good. It's better than what's coming out nowadays. So
yeah.
Hey, one of the traditions at my alma mater when we were, in the thick of things, was, as you were getting into final exams in the fall semester, you had to go at the theater, like on grounds theater, on campus theater, to watch It's a Wonderful Life. and this is at University of Virginia. It was like you had to do it, like it just is an ongoing tradition. And of course, that movie goes back to 1946. But like, it was almost like you had to be reminded. You had to be reminded as a student, and it was really cool that it was embedded in the culture. Like, look, here's the story, and in the end, it all works out, and you're gonna nail these exams. It's just it has to be. It was really cool.
So It's a Wonderful Life.
I had the biggest crush on Jimmy Stewart, just saying.
It's a Wonderful Life did prepare people for taking out mortgages for their homes, but it's a classic movie.
Yeah. Bailey's Building and Loan. Yeah,
right, exactly. So we watch that every year at Christmas, and we also have a tradition in my house where we watch Jaws every 4th of July.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I feel like the kids have to see these movies. And so I was talking to my daughter the other night. I wanted to watch On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando. We ended up watching Hairspray because my daughter's got their vote won, But it's like I was going through like all these classic movies that we kind of can't relate to anymore. Even Faye and I couldn't relate to it when we were young girls, totally like Marlon Brando is so handsome.
Yeah.
Right.
but it's like
Yeah, back in their prime. I mean, Gregory Peck, Marlon Brando, all those
yes.
dudes, Paul Newman in their
Oh,
prime. Then if they got long in the tooth, it's like, I don't know about this.
no,
men
not
get
Clint
better looking.
Eastwood. Not Clint Eastwood. He
Not
is,
men. Like, it's not fair. Men get better looking. It's not
Yes.
fair.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood had several really good movies when he was in his 60s. Like, it's
Yes.
pretty incredible. But back in the 70s, like, have you all ever seen the movie the Eiger Sanction?
No, I never heard of it.
It's a Clint Eastwood movie from the 70s, but like it's kind of a pretty it's like a mystery, but like the reason I like it is because my wife and I lived in Switzerland for a year, and way back when, and so like it's set in they're hiking the north side of the Eiger, the mountain, in Switzerland, this big, huge mountain that's well known in Switzerland. And so like it's set in Switzerland, and I don't know, it's really you should check it out. It's got some good twists and turns and that kind of thing. The Eiger, the Eiger Sanction.
Hold on.
Sanction.
Have you ever seen On the Waterfront, RT?
Yeah, but it's been so long that I my memory of it is not so good.
It's one of those movies that it becomes corny because we know like the 40s and 50s, it was very propagandized, all the film industry, right? Then we had the McCarthy hearing. Is that what it was? The McCarthy hearings?
Right.
After all this propaganda in the media and stuff like that. It's really interesting. So that's why I think that these old movies are so fascinating, because it like kind of had this like crescendo moment where it became political and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when you can really, now, decades later, you can kind of look at some of these films and you're like, holy shit, there's propaganda all in,
Totally.
woven all over this thing. It's kind of like gives you a little bit of the willies, if you think, when you think about it. It's like, okay, I get it. That's what they were doing. It's like, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
But look, hey, ladies, thank you so much for allowing me to participate and be part of your Friday. I'm about to get
Thank you for your
close to
support.
home.
Thank you for your support of our little channel, because I see you on the bigger channels.
I know.
I always love when you call in on any show, Rashi. You're a really great part of the community. And Brian said it after you hung up, and I agree with him 100%.
Yeah, well, thank you all so much, and I just wish you and yours a great holiday weekend, and have some fun and enjoy being around friends and family, and thank you again so much for allowing me to be part of your show, and thank you.
I love what you said about just like not conjuring the fear. Let's have a great American weekend. You know what I mean, guys? Let's just do it. So,
yeah. Screw the fear. The fear can just the fear. I give the middle finger to the fear.
I like it.
I open the front door and I usher it in. I'm like, come on in, fear. You want a place here? Anyway, thanks, RT. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, drive safely.
I'm going to go to Mary, because talk about inversion world. I feel like I say this all the time to Joe. It's like, why is it hotter at night than it is during the day? Do you remember when we were younger, it would be hot during the day and cool down at night?
You know that every time I shut off my camera, it's because I'm trying to fix my hair, and literally I'm sweating through my shirt. So that's also our age, Faye. Hold on, we have to recap everything that just happened. 5 more minutes. 5 more. You can do it.
No, bring me some more wine.
5 more minutes, sister. We just had two very intelligent men download on our channel. Also, I had to take off my good camera, so now I'm all gray. But whatever, who cares? It's not about that.
Yeah.
I mean, the world can be so interesting. It can be. It doesn't in like sometimes I do realize I am very negative. I'm coming from like a prepper, survival. We're going Mad Max any day now. You guys watch, okay? Mad Max, okay? Um or like I do come from like I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop constantly. And I don't want to be like that because in my private day to day life, it's like, yeah, I'm going to watch, movies and have a good time, even though I will also usher the fear into my home and make it as comfortable as it could possibly be because I'm a woman. And
Yeah, we
I was
are
saying,
women.
before we even went on, I went downstairs and I was saying to Mike, I was like, "Oh, Mike, the preppers are freaking out because of blah blah blah." And he's like, "Mary, the preppers are always freaking out. What are you talking about?"
Mary, every time you send me a prepper video, I'm like, why does she do this to herself?
I fall for it every time. Every day I'm falling for it.
Yeah.
So
So I was in the woods with my 2 poodles today, and without my phone, and I was praying, and it's beautiful out, and I can just thanking God that that the predictions were wrong so far, and thanking Him for just the happiness I see, especially on the young people that are like with what RT said, they're intent on living their lives, and they're doing it, and that's the spirit we need to embrace. But then as I'm praying, I'm like, but what happened happened.
yes.
But then I just kind of got some perspective about, you know what, Faye? Have you ever thanked God for a confib? Have you ever like got down on your knees and been like, you know what? I'm closer to my kids. The masks, literally, when they went on, meant the mask came off. Now you know, in a very unviolent way, Faye, what people are all about. Like, it was a real lesson. It was really hard, but like you learned some things, didn't you? And like I really just got that sense walking in the woods with the poodles that like you've never thanked him for that, have you? It got me out of teaching exercise because Mary, I was just kind of like I'm getting older and
it
I'm
was
not like
toxic. You could still do it you could still teach those classes, but those people were so toxic.
One studio I taught at was toxic, and I had a lot of locations. But the point is that the music was getting toxic, and I didn't feel like I didn't have the same. I was doing it for a long time. I could always like go in and do a workout, but I was kind of dialing it in. COVID gave me the best out. I didn't leave because I was getting older and not cool anymore. I left because of the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever thank God for all of the good things that came from it? I don't know why I got on this. So
That's tough. I don't know if I could thank God for something like that, but you're right there. Because if you're, walking with the Lord, of course He's going to make, anything good come out of any situation. But I
what
don't
does
know
the
if I'm
Bible
ready.
say?
I don't know if I'm ready to thank Him for that yet.
The Bible stutter it used to say, I actually discovered a new channel. I didn't discover her. It's EYA, and I'm sure a lot of anyone listening to this is in the Mandela. My mother and I are actually going to do a Bible study with her because all she does is Bible changes. But anyway, the Bible I know used to say, all things work for good for those who love God. And yeah, it was painful, but you know what? Like going through it, but like, really, was it, Faye? It wasn't. You have a home. Joe and I fought a lot at the beginning, but now we're closer than ever. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I'm not going to buy into the fear. Yeah, it can happen again. It happened. That's the way it is. It happened. No one's doing anything to not. It's going to go in the history books as like exactly what the powers that should not be say it is. So yeah, that means it can happen at any time. But God will get me through it, Mary.
All right.
So I'm not going to be afraid.
Fair enough. You can tell once I'm pushing my bangs off my forehead, I think I'm also done.
Mary, how many times has Mary changed her hair? I know I'm hot too. I gotta go wash my face or something. But it was great to talk to Wheels and RT, and as always, you and
of course.
Keep
your eyes open. Oh, I have to get our banner. Oh, are you frozen?
My final thoughts is be thankful always, guys, and happy September 1st. Have a great weekend, and let's have a beautiful fall, y'all. Happy fall, y'all.
Happy fall, y'all. Hold on, give me 1 second. 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. All right, bye-bye. End the stream. I should probably end the stream now. All right, good night.